Hey guys, welcome to Out of Ink. I'm the Archivist, and it's time to talk about superhero Static Shock. Whoop whoop! I know that's not the original theme song, but it's the one that I know the most and that I'm pretty sure everybody knows the most, so we're gonna stick with it. Unfortunately today I am not talking about the cartoon Static, at least I don't plan to that very much. It probably will come up later in this discussion, but that's only because I'm going to have to actually watch most of the show for the first time. I saw a few episodes, and the few episodes I did see as a kid were amazing. Static was one of the first superheroes I was really into. This was because even though I was aware of Spider-Man and Batman and other heroes like the Justice League, Static and Teen Titans were big inspirations to me as a young person because they were close to my age. Even though I was in elementary school, this was something far more attainable than being grown-ass adults. Even where I remember pretending to be a superhero based off Static because I had a similar power set and the hoverboard like Static, and that's literally where I got it from. And this love for Static is what I would argue built the foundation for me getting into comics. Flash forward all this time later, I recently revisited Static during DC's new Milestone run, and their take on Static was really good. I really enjoyed it. Enough that I went to go buy a bunch of the original Statics online to see what Static's origins were like. Now, notice I say I bought them online because I don't have original Static kind of money. That's a dream. I will say, to Static's credit, it was one of the longest titles that ran at Milestone Media's comic division, which ran from when they opened shop in 1993 to when they closed down in 1997. Static was one of the characters created directly by Dwayne McDuffie, one of the founders of Milestone Media, who actually wrote the first arc along with writer Robert L. Washington. These 4 issues were also penciled by John Paul Leon and with inks from Steve Mitchell and Noel C. Giddings as colorist. The reason why I give credit to most of the creative team for this is because of how highly I hold this book in regard. This book is incredibly well written, well established, and the art is absolutely phenomenal. I gotta say, I love the washed out, kind of grungy 90s colors. Everything feels so fluid and exciting, and it doesn't hold back with ways that action is presented, the way characters are drawn. It feels really, really good. And the dialogue is so snappy and modern that this is just an incredibly well put together title. And these 4 issues, a lot happens. These 4 issues cover Static becoming a superhero, Virgil's backstory, him taking down his first antagonist, which is Hotstreak, and having his first crossover, which was Holocaust from Milestone Media's own Blood Syndicate. Don't look at me like that, YouTube. His name is Holocaust. The name has no chill, but this dude has no chill. Even though these books cover a lot, it's incredibly well paced. It doesn't feel rushed at all, and it feels natural, kind of like what people would say about Spider-Man during the 60s. I feel that this is actually an apt comparison. I would feel very comfortable making the comparison that Virgil Hawkins could have been the Peter Parker of his time. If you'll let me explain, this is because in the 60s, there wasn't another hero out there like Spider-Man. He was totally masked so he could be anybody, and he was a young teenage hero, which was very weird in a world of grown-ups running around with their underwear on the outside. This made people reach out and relate to Spider-Man, especially the young people of the time, because he was a teenager with teenage problems, and everybody could feel for him on that regard. At the time, during the 90s, Spider-Man had already grown up and was struggling through the Clone Saga, so it was kind of a weird place. If Milestone had been considered a bigger player in the comic field, I could have seen the argument that Static would have been the Spider-Man to the 90s, because Virgil is a very likable character. He's a great superhero who uses his powers in really interesting, fun ways. He has a really creative origin. He himself is an incredibly likable character, and there is just so much potential in this book that you can literally feel it. That's what I think it feels like. This was a book that, like Spider-Man of the 60s, didn't hold anything back at the time. And because of the time that this book was published in, Static could go even farther. This comic doesn't hold back on anything, be it language, subject matter, or action. It is unapologetically what it is, as you can even see in issue 1. We have so much happen that is even weird in modern books. And to think of this at the time in the 90s would be really a startling revelation almost, especially for someone like me. Static is a window into a world that you have to experience. Because even though I can empathize with the character on the fact that we are similar ages and have had similar experiences, there is a totally different lens there. And it is necessary and valid for us to have those experiences, or to at least share in those experiences and learn from other people. Because perception is what makes our reality. So it's important that we learn what others perceive. It's not my place to get too deep into what that means or what Static is about from that perspective or other perspectives. But what I can tell you is that this is a fantastic book. It is important, and I think that it needs to be read by more people. And to this book's credit, even though these experiences are important, it's not the only thing that makes it good. Static is honestly a fantastic comic, and I really enjoyed it, and I would like to see more people enjoy it. If you grew up watching Static, the show, I think you'll be impressed with how much overlap there is. Because even though the show is considerably safer than the comic, it still doesn't hold back. This can be credited for Dwayne McDuffie, the creator of Static, having a hand in making the show, but it's still important that that still got out there, because a lot of the times stuff like that gets lost in translation when you're going to make a cartoon for children in a TV show based off of a comic. I think with that being said, I think you guys owe it to yourselves to check out Static. It's a fantastic book. You'll have a great time. I hope. Because I did. And I'm gonna keep reading Static. And I hope you guys will continue to seek it out too. So let me know in the comments below. Do you want me to talk more about Static in the future of Out of Ink? Would you like me to visit other milestone titles, or perhaps journey deeper into other independent comics? I'm gonna do it anyways, but I want your guys' opinion because that's important. So, thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you guys next time here on Out of Ink.